Hi, it's Clemmy from the NARM Clinic. Are you someone who experiences that classic 3 p.m. mid-afternoon energy slump? You know that feeling a couple of hours after lunch when all you want to do is face plant your laptop keyboard and have an afternoon nap. If that sounds familiar to you, then sit tight. I'm going to explain why that's happening, but most importantly, what you can do to avoid it. So this classic kind of 3 p.m. slump is actually down to fluctuating energy levels and more specifically fluctuating blood sugar levels. Now, what is blood sugar? So when I say blood sugar, people often think diabetes, but in reality, we all have varying blood sugar levels throughout the day, depending on one, what we've eaten, but two, how much stress we've been under. So when we eat anything containing carbohydrates or sugar, it gets broken down into smaller little molecules called glucose, and that's absorbed in our small intestine, and it enters our bloodstream for our body to use as our primary source of energy. And ideally, we want our blood sugar levels to stay within a certain range, so not go too high, but not go too low either. However, with our Western diet, which is often very carbohydrate and sugar dominant, it often sets us up on a ride of what I like to call the blood sugar roller coaster. So I'll explain that a little bit more now. So when we eat something containing sugar or refined carbohydrates, they are broken down very, very quickly and enter our bloodstream very rapidly. And this causes a real spike in our energy levels and gives us that rush of energy. And the way I kind of describe it is perhaps when you give children sweets and then they go a bit crazy, that kind of rush of energy. But what goes up must come down. And what follows that really big high often follows that big low, and our blood sugar levels drop below normal, and that leaves us feeling very hungry. It leaves us craving those carbohydrate and sugary rich foods, and can also often affect our mood sometimes too, giving us that hangry feeling. And what do we reach for when we hit that bottom, when we hit that low? We reach for those sugary carbohydrate foods. We reach for those biscuits, the cakes, pastries, because our body's craving that to get those levels back up again. And so you eat those carbohydrate, sugary rich foods, your energy levels spike again, but then what happens? They fall again. And so that cycle continues throughout the day. So you're on that roller coaster ride. Now, this problem, or this can lead to things like low energy, those classic like mid-morning, mid-afternoon slumps, tiredness throughout the day, but also things like weight gain, particularly around our middle, and in the longer term, it can really increase our risk of type 2 diabetes. But luckily, there are lots of things that we can do, simple things that we can do each and every day to help avoid this happening. So here are my 3 top tips for your energy levels and to make you feel amazing throughout the day. So number 1 is protein with each meal or snack. Now, our protein-rich foods are our meat, fish, eggs, poultry, also things like nuts and seeds as well, and our plant-based sources are things like beans, pulses, lentils. So having a little bit of protein with each meal or snack can really help to slow down the digestion and the breakdown of those carbohydrates, and just helps to avoid that spike from happening. So in practical terms, that might mean adding some nuts or seeds, for example, to your porridge in the morning. If you have fruit or something for a snack, then having a small palm-sized portion of nuts with that can really help. Number 2 is to switch up your breakfast. So what you eat for breakfast is really important and will determine whether you step on to that blood sugar roller coaster or not. Now, if you're someone who often opts for sugary cereals or granolas, then perhaps trialing something more savoury, perhaps some eggs on some wholemeal toast, might help support your energy levels. So trial that, experiment, see what works for you. Try switching your breakfast up, see how it makes you feel, and make tweaks that way. And as I've said before, if you're someone that has porridge or something like that, just adding things to it. So pimping out your breakfast, adding to what you already are eating. Again, adding some protein, adding some healthy fats can really help to slow down the breakdown and absorption of those carbohydrates, and can just help sustain your energy levels during the morning and in the afternoon. And actually what we have for breakfast not only has an impact on how we're feeling during the morning, but it can actually really have an impact in the afternoon as well, and can really help dictate what food choices we make during the rest of the day. And number 3, the last one, is to reduce added sugar and opt for whole grains, things like fibre, which also helps to slow down the digestion and the breakdown of carbohydrates and reducing that blood sugar spike and risk. And fibre also has the added bonus as well of supporting our digestive health. Anyway, I hope that's helpful. If you have any questions, please get in touch, and we'll see you again soon.